What's going on, everyone? It's a long overdue My Aggie Nation podcast. We're doing it Zoom. We're getting technologically advanced here, folks. So hold on to your pants. This is going to be a great one. I'm Travis Brown with the Eagle. Down below me on the Zoom, looking so dapper in his engagement picture, it's President Zachary Taylor. How did you get so dapper?
Some people are just born with it. I think as Lady Gaga said, I was born this way.
Or you just found a woman who dresses you. But more, and this is the first I'm sorry to leave our guests waiting, but we have to say this is the first podcast as you, the married man.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Congrats, buddy.
I feel the same. I feel the same talking with you, other than we got Jeff on. So
there you go. Well, yeah.
I didn't mean to spoil your thunder there. I know you love to do those intros, so go ahead.
No. That's Zach Taylor. That's President Zach Taylor, the married, the Mr. and Mrs. all together in one, Zach Taylor. Yeah. But we'll talk about that later. We need to get this guy rolling who on the Zoom is beside me on the podcast. You can't see him. That is one Jeff Toates. You might know him from his great works that I've been seeing this week, Toast with Totes, here down in Aggie Land. But he's actually doing really great things with the Dallas Stars. He is up in the bubble in Edmonton with the Dallas Stars as their what is your exact? I know you do digital content. What's the exact title, Jeff?
Job title right now is senior producer for the Dallas Stars.
Listen, that's big time. So anyway, thanks for joining us, man. He is a former student. He was a big time part of 12th Man Productions, I believe, while you were down here. Yep. So what I guess you have to start off with what is it just like being an Aggie in Canada?
It's I guess Aggies and Canadians are similar in that they're both just way over the top friendly and inviting. It's been great. Honestly, it's fun. We've now been up here in Edmonton for 5 weeks and still keeping it going. So hopefully we close out this second round series pretty quick and then it's on to conference finals.
Yeah. By the way, Travis, go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
No, you go for it.
I was going to say he has me to thank for introducing him to Toast with Totes. He had no idea. And then I was like, wait a minute, Jeff Toates, that sounds familiar. Sure enough, yep, it was you. But man, you look a lot different than you did whenever you were going to school here. I mean, you didn't have the beard and you had short hair and you had glasses and you have none of those things right now.
That is true. Yeah, looking a bit different, I guess now 5 years later.
Golly.
Really grew up post Aggie land.
Oh man, got that playoff lettuce flowing and everything. Is that what we got going on over there?
Yeah, I didn't get a haircut before coming here, and then obviously there's no, or I mean maybe not obviously there's no barber here, so I'm on like month 3 of this salad.
Oh, that's great. It's
pretty good. It's coming in nicely.
It's delicious.
Well, we got to start. We're going to get to the bubble, and we're going to get to all that's exciting there. But let's start at the very beginning, and I think the very beginning for everyone that listens to our podcast would have to be Toast with Totes and your general involvement with 12th Man Productions and your time here in A&M. It seemingly kind of definitely paved the way to what you're doing now. And how did you know that you wanted to be at A&M and this is what you want to do? And how did your kind of time here set up for what you're getting to do now?
Yeah, it completely set it up. I got really lucky to be accepted as a student worker for 12th Man Productions my sophomore year. And so I was lucky enough to do 3 full years with them. And the way that kind of works is you start, working on like volleyball, softball. Your first year, you're learning cameras and just like basic press conference shooting and all that. And then the next year I was with men's basketball and baseball, got to travel with them a little bit, do some more production type stuff. And so then my senior year, my 3rd year with them, got to work on football crew, more men's basketball. And then we started producing some student content. So it was just an unbelievable opportunity to have access to all that equipment. Got to work on some shows for the SEC network. So it definitely gave me the skills and paved the way for what I'm doing now.
So how did you come up with that moniker Toast with Totes? I mean, I know it rolls off the tongue so well. And during the segment, you actually put a piece of toast in the toaster. And it's like, while the toast is toasting, Totes talks to whoever he's talking to.
Yeah, I don't remember how like the specific name. I don't know. It all kind of we came up with it at one time, and the original idea, was to make it an interview for the actual amount of time that it takes a piece of toast to cook. But then, as you see, like it kind of went off the rails and became like 6 and 7 minute episodes, and we got a bit over the top with it. But that was a blast. That was so much fun. We did that for the end of my junior year and then my senior year. So I think we maybe did like 13 or 14 total episodes, but those were so much fun and definitely learned a lot during that process.
Yeah, I got the one Zach sent me, and it was great. Was the one I know. So I'm a big fan of your podcast, Rinky Dinking, with Mike Heika and Daryl Ray, because I'm a big Stars fan. I wore my Stars hoodie here.
Heck yeah.
And so I know from that they say you're a big NBA fan. You talk about it all the time on the podcast.
Huge,
so the one that Zach sent me was your interview with good old the ball boy, Alex Caruso. And that was great. What were some of your favorites? What were some of your best memories from that?
That one was funny. That was only the third one we ever did. And so it's still very, I don't know. We didn't really know what we were doing with it or anything. It's a bit rough, just like the shots and everything, but it's funny. Like all those first couple we did, we're just figuring it out. And obviously Alex is just hilarious on his own. So, and now that one's obviously gotten a little bit of views here in the later years with his success. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Did you know that this was something that you wanted to do long-term? I mean, going back and then working with the Stars and just getting into this profession?
Yeah, I think so. I studied business while at A&M, but dedicated most of my time to the work with 12 Man Productions and was definitely much more interested in that than anything business related or academic. So I was definitely hoping for this career path to work out, and it has so far.
Cool. Yeah, so let's get in a little bit, and we can jump back into some more A&M stuff and some of those Toasted Totes, but we got to explain. So you're in a hotel right now in Edmonton. You're with the Stars up there. You're in a bubble. What? Give me the day-to-day of bubble life, like especially kind of how y'all checked in, and then what does a day look like?
Yeah, it's definitely definitely a little bit Groundhog Day-ish. So when we checked in, which seems like years ago, it was about 5 weeks and a couple of days ago. That was back July 26th. Mm-hmm. And initially it was 12 teams coming to the bubble for this Western Conference playoff. And that's actually been one of the more interesting things to me, is seeing in the past 5 weeks, you're literally seeing the playoff race thin as teams move out. Huh. It was 12 teams that came here. And after every round, after eliminations, teams are literally packing up, moving out of the hotel. And now restaurants, lobby, elevators is just emptier than it was a couple weeks ago. So it's cool to be in the playoff race in that regards. But in terms of day-to-day, it's a good setup. We're connected to the arena here just via Skybridge, so everything's really self-contained. Initially, when it was 12 teams here, we were busing out to a practice rink about a half hour away. But now there's only 4 teams here, so everything's in this complex. It's very self-sufficient right now. There's restaurants, food trucks, little outdoor area, game rink, hotel. So you're really staying within like half-mile radius at all times, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, considering the heat index, I think in BCS today is like 110. What's the weather like up there?
That's actually, yesterday was kind of the first cold day. We woke up and it was like gray skies, super windy, and it was like 39 degrees at like 7 a.m.
Wow.
And just walking outside to get coffee was frigid for me because I'm Texan, but
right.
Today's like 60s. But looking at the forecast and talking to people here, when August ends, like summer's over and they have snow in late September. So they're all like, this is their couple weeks of fall right here, which for me is cold, but I love it.
Yeah. Did you pack accordingly?
No, I didn't. I was texting a friend today, like that you might have to go by my apartment and ship me a coat because I didn't anticipate this at all.
Oh, that's
which
crazy.
I probably should have.
That's
you got to believe,
hockey,
man.
It's hockey in the summer, man. It's hockey in the summer. So, how long or how many times are you having to like get tested? And I know they've talked a lot too about in between the games, y'all have the players suite. I mean, it seems like you're getting to kind of interact with the guys a lot. How much, what has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, that's been cool. In terms of testing, we're tested every day. which now just feels like a regular part of the day.
Pull up the nose and everything?
It alternates every other day between nose and throat. So today was a throat day. Even numbered days or nose days. So it's
like
very,
a workout.
Yeah, no kidding. It's very routine though. They keep it moving. They get everyone through. So that's been really it feels like a part of the day now. But then in terms of facilities, we're I'm definitely in it with the team in terms of we have one team lounge where everyone eats meals, hangs out. We have a team suite over at the arena where we can watch other games. It's very, very compact, which is fun. I like that.
Yeah. I know. Again, I'm pulling from the podcast.
Right.
Who's the best ping pong player?
It's John Klingberg.
Really?
I would say, but there's some competition for the top spot. I'm not in the running at all. I love playing ping pong, and I've played many hours here, but I kind of do it at odd times when the room's not full, so I'm not really judged.
Yeah. Who have you beaten? Let's just go with that.
I have a big time rivalry going with our director of PR, Tom Holy.
Yeah.
I point there because he's my room neighbor. We play a lot. I've played Klingberg, and I have to tell you, he's the best player on the team. It really elevates your game when you play someone that good, and then play someone your skill level after, if that makes sense.
Okay. It's like swinging with a donut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it ups your game so that you're better going forward, but you look terrible when you play someone as good as him.
As iron sharpens iron, so does John Klingberg's ping pong game sharpens Jeff.
That's it. Exactly.
Now the question is, does it ever get boring when you guys are there?
Yeah, there's definitely no one really wants off days at this point. I think guys would almost play every day if it wasn't such a physical grind, if that makes sense. We had unanticipated off days earlier this week with all the strike, boycott, games off. So that was having actually no games, no plans. That was weird. And that was kind of just days you had to kill time.
Yeah. I know. Didn't y'all get to go out to a Canadian football stadium and goof around like that? It seemed like such a weird playpen because it just seemed like here's a bunch of balls, go have fun. What was that like?
We've done that twice now, and I think we'll do it. They're trying to do it weekly. It's a bit tough with the schedule, but it really feels like a sixth grade field trip where you all get on the bus. It pulls up to a stadium. They just let you out, and there's footballs, baseballs, spike ball, just spread out on this massive football field, and everyone kind of groups up and picks teams and play for a couple hours and then get on the bus, get Gatorades, and go back. It was fun. It was a blast, and those days were 70s and breezy and just perfect. So
does it kind of – oh, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing here is you can go multiple days in a row without going outside at all because of the sky bridge and everything is self-contained. So those days were really nice just to get some sun.
In some ways, does it kind of feel like your time back working with 12th Man P and traveling with the teams? Because things are a little bit more regimented in the college travel schedule than maybe the pro travel schedule. Does it feel a little bit more akin to that, or is it just so weird that you can't equate it to anything?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit similar to that. And I travel with the team also in non-bubble and just regular. I've been traveling for the past 4 years. So it's a very similar grind and definitely something that getting to travel with teams at 12 Man P prepared me for.
So kind of an example of your work, if folks are kind of wanting to know exactly what it is that you've got going on, what you're doing for the team. I mean, if they see a video on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, even on the website, that's generally going to be from you or your cohorts there, right?
Yeah. So we're definitely, obviously because of kind of the way the past couple months have gone in the sports world, we're operating at a very reduced employee group right now for our Stars team. So it's a bit less than we would normally have for a playoff run, obviously. So it's really me and then probably 2 editors back in Dallas kind of churning out everything video related right now. But in the normal season and the season before this, non-bubble time, I do a lot of production for our website, but also for our broadcast on Fox Sports Southwest. So it's kind of like multi-purpose content between those two things. And then some of that stuff makes its way to Jumbotron. Some of that stuff ends up Twitter, Instagram. So it's kind of as creating as much as you can that serves all those purposes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I gotta go back a little bit early in the season to where I was on January 1st and where you were on January 1st. What was it like to get to do everything leading up to the Winter Classic? Because I know from hearing and following the team, a lot of the stuff that you were doing before then got picked up and used by national outlets and stuff. So A, how cool was that for you? And then B, just what was that whole experience like? Because I've covered the Super Bowl, I've covered the College World Series, I've covered everything, and that was still probably top 1 or 2 coolest sporting events I've ever been to. And that was just for as a fan.
Yeah, and so like having worked all those events, like you kind of know how it's tough to get like sports excited now. You get a bit it becomes a job a lot.
Right.
But Winter Classic was the one thing, and even in like the weeks and days leading up to it, I wasn't adequately excited for how cool it ended up being. And then that day, walking out there and just everything surrounding it, and on top of that, it being a great hockey game, it was, to me, like at the time, I was like, all right, January 1st, like this is as cool as this year's going to get for sure on the first day. But I didn't anticipate all this right now. So it's been interesting.
I mean, and what really made it was the longest game misconduct walk in the history of the NH. I mean, just to see that. No, I'm just kidding. And that and the pig races. But yeah, man, that had to have been a blast. And I know just for you professionally too, to get to kind of see a lot of your work going up on some national stuff as well.
Yeah, that was really cool. I've gotten now in the past couple of years to know the NHL Studios guys really well. They produce Road to the Winter Classic, Quest for the Stanley Cup, kind of all those big behind the scenes shows. So I've now kind of become a contact for them when they're trying to get Stars footage or do stuff with us in Dallas. And so it's been really, really fun to get to be on the inside and kind of see their method of operation on much bigger scale productions than what I'm doing. So it's been great. And Winter Classic was just a fantastic opportunity to kind of all share footage.
So I think we've covered a large part of what your job may be, but is there something that people might not realize that's also with your title and things that you have to do that the other folks might not realize?
Well, right now, I would say kind of with what we're doing right now in the bubble, it's kind of twofold. It's like half of what I'm doing is live social media coverage, essentially, where I'm sending, shots of guys walking up to the game, guys working out before the game, practice footage, photos, post-game reactions. All that stuff's getting to Twitter really quick. But then the other half of what I'm doing is kind of like the bigger picture, when this is all over, a long form piece that kind of encapsulates this run, the bubble, wraps it up. So probably 90%, 95% of what I've shot so far has not seen light at all. It's just on a hard drive for that future bigger project edit. And that's the aspect of the job that I love, is kind of that documentary style shooting, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Hey, Stanley Cup trophy would be really nice at the end of that video.
I've been trying to tell the guys that's the perfect ending. I need that.
Yeah. So with all you have to do with NHL, I know sometimes it corresponds. How much do you get to keep up still with Aggie sports, with Aggie football? How much are you still tuned in and plugged in there?
It's been tough since taking this job. Obviously, after graduating, like we're playing most Saturdays in the fall, almost all of them. But I'm still very much in tune. I was definitely say I was talking to someone this week. This year has been the least I've been, just kind of with how weird circumstances are, how much everything's changing with our timeline, with football's timeline. It's definitely the least I've been in tune with training camp and all that. But I've been following, and I don't know. We've been saying 2020 for a few years now, looking forward to this schedule. So we'll see. I'm interested to watch.
Yeah, well, I'm curious too. With as someone who has to have such an up close and personal view on playing sports in a pandemic in this bubble. I mean, with everything that's taking place with the NHL, how do you feel like, and knowing the inner workings of like a football program, how well does this just translate?
I don't know. It's tough because right now it's seeming like, I mean, just based on what's happening with MLB, like the bubble system is the only foolproof sports league chance to happen. And I don't know what is going to end up happening with fans in the stadium and all that, but I feel like college football does have a good chance to succeed just based on, I don't know, the amount of games, the amount of time between games, and hopefully if everyone's smart in the time in between games, they can make it happen. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the big thing around here too is just with the college kids, and it's not necessarily when they're in class, and I'm not talking about the athletes, I'm talking about everybody else. And it's not when they're in class, it's afterwards when they have chances to go to Northgate and go around town and do all these other things and hang out with each other. And so that that part of it, there's really not much you can do about that in the ways if you're the athletic department. So
yeah, I know how that goes. So I could definitely see potential risk there.
I know you said you haven't been able to keep in tune as much as you'd like. Any hot takes on the A&M football season this year?
Ooh, no, I don't have any, honestly.
Yeah. Any predictions? Do you think with the all 10 game SEC schedule, it's got to be a little.
Yeah, and I have a couple good Florida Gator friends, and so I'm really looking to week 3, right? October 10th.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a couple little side bets riding on that Aggies Gator match. So I know that's tough coming off being at Tuscaloosa the week before, but I need us to beat the Gators.
Yeah, for sure.
Putting in the call.
Yeah, that's right.
There you
that's
go.
my hot take.
Well, since this is not your normal podcast situation, I'll just go into Zach. You got anything else?
Nah, man, I think that's about it.
I think that's
appreciate Jeff coming on. It's awesome.
Sure.
Here's the last thing. You need to be the arbiter, Zach, because if I do my math right, you've been with the team for 4 years now?
Me?
Yeah.
This is my 5th season, I guess, technically.
So when did you start there?
August 2015. I graduated A&M in May 2015.
Gotcha. Okay, so it wasn't quite like – so by this math, y'all traded Toates up to the Stars. I was the Stars beat writer for the Star-Telegram through February of 2016. So I was the player to be named later back to – so, Zach, was it a good trade? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Don't want me to answer that.
No, don't answer that.
Let's just say the Stars got an all-star.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever it is. So.
Exactly. Well, hey, Jeff, appreciate your time getting to talk with us. I knew as soon as you were up in the bubble that you were someone I wanted to have on to talk about a little bit of a bubble life with us. And, man, I'm sure we'd probably reach out to you again if next big thing the Stars happens just to chop it up with us. Before you go, and I know I've mentioned it a couple times, you have a podcast. How can people find your work and your podcast and get a hold of you if they want to see your stuff?
Definitely. Most of my stuff can be viewed on DallasStars.com. The Stars YouTube channel has a lot of my edits. Our podcast is called Rinky Dinking, and it's on Spotify, Apple Podcast Store, wherever you consume your podcasts.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're a Stars fan, even if you're not, you got to check out Rinky Dinking because Razor's great, Totes is great, Hike is great. So check that out.
Great name too.
Do what?
I said it's a great name. You guys had a great name for y'all's podcast.
That is.
Yeah. Who did come up with that name, by the way?
I was Razor.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense.
It's a good one.
So anyway, hey man, appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll be checking with you down the line. So we have a little bit more My Aggie Nation podcast coming up. We'll see you on the other side of the music.